Wonderful. Okay, so again, our founder of Radio One is in the building, Miss Cathy Hughes, and I would like to introduce you to her legacy. My name is Karen Clark, and I work for Foxy 107, 104. Mir, you're next since you're on stage.
I'm Mir. Yes, my name is Miriam, and I stole will.i.am's name in order to make mine for radio. And I'm on Foxy, The Light, and K97.5. Y'all hear me all the time. I know you're sick of me.
I am royalty, big T, not the little one. Listen, I know I'm not big, okay? But it's okay, it's still big T. I am on K97.5 middays. If you have ever checked me out, thank you so much.
Now I see it clear.
I'm Zena Merritt. I am a senior account executive for Radio One. As a matter of fact, I'm the longest standing sales rep in the Raleigh office.
Hello, everyone. My name is Denisha Wilson, and I am a promotions assistant for Radio One.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lucera Parker. I'm also a promotions assistant and a kind of a jack of all trades for the radio station. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Maria Ewing. I thought I was retired, and then someone asked me to come back and work part-time, and I'm executive assistant to the vice president general manager and helping with special events. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Tracy Mosley. I kind of do a little bit of everything, but I specialize in helping with events and promotions at the radio station.
Hi, my name is Zan Grossman, and I am the continuity director.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Callie Douglas, returning back to Radio One and programming. I've been there. It's been over 2 decades. I love it. Thank you for coming.
They're making me announce myself. I didn't want to. But my name is Glennis. I am the online editor for all of the stations at Radio One Raleigh, and I do the editorial work and some of the social media work.
And I am Melissa Wade in the Water. I do the middays on the Light 103.9, and I program the Light as well as Foxy 107, 104 now. And we have one more member to introduce.
My name is Cathy Hughes. I am the founder and chairperson of Radio One, and these are my girls. Get up, please, and welcome them. Come on. They work hard. God bless you all for being here. Now, I know that some of you need to adjust the spandex and need to do a little stretching. So that's why I got you up for real. Thank you for being here. You would not be here if it were not for these ladies. I never touch a microphone until I first thank God, from whom all blessings flow. Raise your hands to the Creator. Thank you, dear God. We love you, we thank you, and we praise your holy name. All right, make yourselves comfortable. All right. Thank you for coming out on this rainy day. The Triangle is my favorite area. I can't say that in any market except the Triangle, because we're in 19 markets now. We're up to 75 radio stations. We've got 2 cable networks, 32 digital platforms, and God has blessed us to be the company where 82% of all African Americans touch one of our 5 companies every week. Every week. So if you really want to know what's going on, please spread the word. We need your support. First, we had to survive digital. Now here comes AI. They just will not allow black women in business to be left alone. But we up for the challenge. I was born proud to be a sister. I have lived almost 80. Those of you who know, that means it'll be next year, 80 years I've been alive. 80 years. And every single solitary moment of those 80 years, I have loved the blessing of being placed on this planet to be of service to my people. I am unapologetically in the black people business. You all are the priority of my company. I was the first African American woman to chair a publicly held corporation. And although I get credit for that, it's because of my business partner and my son, Alfred Liggins, who now thinks he's my daddy. He's so confused. So confused. Lord, please keep him in your prayers. Because I keep telling him that maybe one day I will need a daddy. But right now, I'm proud to be a black mama. Okay, and you know, we don't cut no slack no matter what age we are. Any of you done had some elderly grandmamas who was worse in her 80s than she was in her 40s. Would slap you upside the head with a skillet if you said something smart or wrong to her in her kitchen. So I plan to remain active as long as God sees fit to have me remain active, because the tragedy is we never get credit for what we do. Everybody was all excited. 4 astronauts went to the moon. All right, first time, 3 decades ago. 3 sisters made that possible. You know, we didn't even know that they existed until Hollywood made a movie about them. So I love to tell my John Glenn story, which is maybe he fell out with one of the sisters. You know, sometimes we get an attitude, might have said something smart to him. So he's like, I ain't telling nobody nothing about what she doing. Second sister comes along. She comes along and sides with the first sister. Yeah, John ain't. Third sister comes along and is a mathematical genius. It is impossible for that white boy to go to the moon and not know that 3 black women put him there. Okay, and we got to wait for Hollywood to tell us? We have got to do a better job of telling our children, our grandchildren, our future generations who we are, what we stand for. We all have legacies, and every last one of us is the CEO of ourselves and our future and the future of our families. We could not have a better example of what is possible when you put your matriarchal responsibilities first. When you realize that God has blessed you with a baby. I was 17 when I had my baby, and I'll be honest with you, I did not think it was a blessing. I couldn't go to the prom. I graduated in an oversized gown. I took him to college classes with me in a baby carriage. Now, he's the president and CEO of my company. And not because I chose him to be, because my board realized that as I aged, he knew a lot more about how to run a business than I did and had a lot more energy. We have to realize that the God-given blessing of parenthood, motherhood, is really your best legacy. It really does not matter what your title is, how much education, how much money. It's all about what you instill in other human beings that is your legacy. Today we have the #1 classic example of how high you can take your children, what you can accomplish, and still keep them grounded and out of trouble. So easy to make mistakes when your face is everywhere, when everyone's pulling at you. But I have to honestly say, having been blessed to observe both Solange and Beyonce from a front row seat, those girls are as sweet and loving to their mama today with their success as they were when they were children. That's testimony to the greatness of Tina Knowles.
I'm a grown woman, look down, got your
aging while I was waiting on you up here. They weren't expecting me to come up here the way I did.
I didn't expect this big of a crowd, but Lord.
Wait. Who you with?
I know, look. I know Miss Hughes. Oh, thank you. Wow.
Hello. Like we ain't seen each other. We back there taking photos and talking. Thank you for coming to Durham, North Carolina.
Yeah.
The Triangle. You know it's called the Triangle because there's three. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So your mic working okay? Check your mic.
My mic?
Yeah,
you can hear me, right?
There we go.
All right. Oh, what a beautiful audience. Goodness.
So they're going to be kind of surprised because, number one, let me just start off by saying I have not read the book. And the reason I haven't is because I always select my favorite book for my summer vacation reading.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So I know that have you kept count how many interviews on this book you've done?
Oh, my God. I can't even tell you.
Okay.
A lot of them.
All right.
Yeah.
So you and I just going to have a chat.
Okay.
Okay.
I love talking about the book. Though.
Okay. But we're going to sell some books too now. Okay. Because I don't want to hear from her agents. Because, Tina has employed her family members for years and years and years. I don't want to be out with the family. Okay. So we'll sell some books. But I want to start off by saying to you something that's going to surprise you, which is thank you for taking me to church in Houston and introducing me to Pastor Rudy.
Yes.
Okay? Pastor Rudy has stayed in my life since that morning you took me to his church.
I know, he's told me.
An incredible human being.
Yes.
An incredible human being. And I'll tell you when we're not on the mic that he credits me with saving his life one day.
I remember
you know
that
story.
At the Breakfast Club.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah. So Pastor Rudy is an individual where Tina raised her girls, and her husband up in the church, and her grandson. So the first day at church, your grandbaby, your number one, how old is he now?
He's 21 now. Yeah.
He was throwing the hymnals over the balcony and hitting people in the head.
Right. Trying to get me sued.
Yeah. Absolutely. Spirituality has been the essence of your life. Can we start with God?
Yes.
And let's talk about the importance, because obviously the same way God directed you to do the things that you've done in your life, God also directed you to write this book,
That's
Matriarch.
Right.
And pick the title. You are the matriarch, the ultimate. Can we get a round of applause on that? The ultimate matriarch. The ultimate. And I can't wait to read it. So I know that I'm probably the only interview you've ever done with a host of the interview said, I ain't read the book. Wait, can I get a free copy?
I brought you one.
You did already.
She
knew what I was going to say.
Yes. But the book was, I didn't plan on writing a book. I said I would never write a memoir because people had asked me before, and I was always like, y'all don't want to know about me. Y'all want to know all my kids' business.
That's true.
And y'all going to get me in trouble, so I'm not going to do that. But then when I got a divorce after 33 years of marriage, I was just feeling, I was 59 years old, which is really funny now, because I look back on that time and I just felt so old and I felt so tired and weary. And I was like, if something happened to me today, my grandkids wouldn't know anything about their grandparents or, what resilient stock they came from. And so I just started recording in my phone about my childhood, and before I knew it, I had, all my years, just my years in Galveston. And so I I lost that phone for a while, and I was able to go back and find it. When they approached me about doing this book, I was 70 years old. And I'm like, where? Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, right. When she said she was looking on us, I said, you ain't got no mirrors in your house?
No. It was a bad time for me. going through a divorce after 33 years, and just, I don't know, it was just a bad time.
Plus, he was the love of your life.
Yeah, he was the love of my life. I had been with him since I
Tina,
was
can you hold on
25.
minute? Can you all see her over there, or can I get this podium moved? You all can't see.
I bet they
Okay,
can
let's
see.
get this podium set down so that our
And the
family
peak-
members over here can see. Sorry
Oh,
about
that's
that.
nice. So anyway, I had written a lot of it, and then I went back and got that. And it just took me down this journey, and I started researching my Ancestry.com and my grandmothers, my great-grandmothers. And my mom had always told me that my great-grandmother was enslaved, and her mother was enslaved, and that she managed to free her kids. And that's pretty much all she told me, was that you're from these strong women, Teenie. And my name was Celestine. I couldn't stand that name. I still don't like it till today.
Wait, when I went to your doctor in New York, neurologist.
Right.
And he was telling me, I understand you and Christine are friends. I'm like, I'm sorry, doctor, I don't know who Christine is.
I don't know who that is, because I hated that name. And anyway, she was like, the name is beautiful, and she used to say it really pretty. She would say Celestine, because she was, had this heavy Creole accent, but when people said it, they said Celestine, and it wasn't cute. But anyway, she would tell me these stories, and so I knew I was from resilient women, but I didn't know how resilient they were. So this book took me down this path of just studying, and the guy who helped me, with all the dates and the facts, he found out all kind of great things about my ancestors. And
all that's in the book.
All of that's in the book, and how my parents moved from Louisiana, how they came from Louisiana to Texas. And I mean, it's better than a movie. It's a lot of, what did I say, sex, drugs, and rock and roll in this book. So anyway, so I wrote the book. And it was the best thing I could have done for myself, because it was therapy.
So you've become AAA celebrity in your own right. But it occurred later in your fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about that, Tina, that you can't walk into a room without being greeted with a standing ovation, that people, you don't have a personal life, because celebrities don't. And you've always been a homebody. She can cook her behind off. She's a beautician by trade. Okay, she can hook up some hair. That Beyonce blowing in the wind is just coincidental to the fact. Okay, that's a Tina invention. Okay, but does that bother you that now? Because both your daughters have enjoyed it for a long time, but it's relatively new to you.
It's relatively new, and by design. I always worked with the girls, and I was always around, and I did a few interviews, but, my hair wasn't combed, I didn't have no makeup on, I looked crazy all the time, and I really...
You're too pretty to ever look crazy.
Well, thank you. But those pictures don't say the same. But I intentionally stayed out of the limelight, and I was a behind-the-scenes person. And what I realized at 70 is that a lot of times I was doing so many things and contributing so much, and I didn't care about the credit for it. But I turned 70, and can I say this? That when you turn 70, you don't give a shit about a bunch of stuff. And one of it is what people are gonna say, how they're gonna judge you. How I used to be so concerned about never embarrassing my kids, because mamas embarrass their kids. And I still embarrass my kids all the time, y'all know that. But I don't care. And I mean, I wouldn't say I don't care, I do care, but it doesn't bother me as much. I'm not walking a tightrope and being so careful about my life. I'm free. I feel free.
But what about the fact that you just can't get in your car and go to the grocery store?
But I do. I drive everywhere. I go to the mall. I go to the grocery store. I do everything that, that I did before. I go to church by myself. I drive myself, because I just made a conscious decision that I refuse to let my life be so affected that I'm scared of people. So I still meet people, I talk to people, I love meeting people, I love talking, I love taking pictures. I like it all. So it doesn't bother me.
I got to talk about the shoes for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. When Matthew and I received those honorary doctorates at Fisk University, okay, two stories I'm going to tell you about Fisk. It was when you and your daughters were manufacturing shoes. Those were the most comfortable shoes that I had ever in my life worn. And I don't know, I'm sure you don't remember this little detail, but I was rushing to catch the plane and I left the pair that I had with me in the room. I hadn't been at the airport 10 minutes and I called back and said, oh my God, my shoes are in the room. They were gone. Those shoes, why did you come out of the shoe business? Because I remember in an interview with Beyonce that she said to me that she can't remember a day where her feet weren't hurting until you and her developed these shoes. Talk about those shoes.
That was the emphasis on it, is how, not how beautiful they are, but how comfortable they are. Because she had the dancing shoes, and so we started designing shoes with other, designers, and saying, no, you got to put a platform on them, you got to have
doctors
ankle
too,
support.
if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
doctors. We had foot doctors to consult. They were really comfortable shoes.
They were the best shoes I ever owned.
Well,
But why
thank you.
not? Why can't I buy them now?
Well,
now that I
because-
really need them, I'm on a cane. Okay.
Well,
You're still doing good, girl.
Well, let me tell you why. Because I got 2 knee replacements, and I say I'm 72, but I got 2 35-year-old knees.
I love those shoes. So if you ever decide that you want to do something else, please go back. Because I'm sure, raise your hand if you all got some need for some comfortable shoes. Okay, all right. Cancer. You don't know this. I had cancer.
I didn't know you had cancer. That's how long it's been.
4 years. She was at my 75th birthday party, which was in Vegas. She and then husband Richard came over, and Charlie was busy flirting with her. Charlie's my grandson, okay, who's 17 now, subtract 4. Okay, and he was over talking about, yeah, when I grow up, I'm gonna marry Tina. I was like, Charlie, would you please conduct yourself like your grandmama gave you some home training? But let's talk a little bit about this cancer, because I have to honestly say that when that doctor set me down and told me that I had cancer, I went into a zone.
I know.
But
yeah, same here. I mean, luckily it was stage 1. And but just when you hear that word cancer, it's just unbelievable, because I'm like, I'll wait until I get to be 70 years old to hear cancer, and it just sounds like a death sentence. No matter if they're telling you, I didn't even hear it's early stages, we can take care of it.
I didn't hear
none of
anything
that.
past the word
After
cancer.
cancer, I was just like sitting there like in a daze, and but God is good. And it was early stages. And I didn't even know that there was a stage 0 until I told my sister, and she's a nurse, and she said, no, Tina, you don't have the first stage, it's a stage 0. And what I want to just say really quickly is that during COVID, I somehow they canceled my mammogram, because I've been really good about doing my mammograms. And they canceled it, and then the year passed, and then the next year came, and I thought I went that year, and I just got away from it.
So it was breast cancer.
Huh?
You had breast cancer.
I had breast cancer, and in my left breast. And so what happened was I had stage 1, and I could have had stage 0. So I just want to, every time I get to speak, I tell people, please go for your mammograms. Please go for your pelvic exams. Women, just take care of yourself, because we put ourselves last. Yeah.
I had rectal colon cancer.
Oh, wow.
And the same thing happened to me. I have sent everybody to get colonoscopies.
Yes.
Because when you wake up from that drug, that's how Michael ended up. He took too much of it. But you wake up refreshed.
And it
You
feels
feel
so good. I see
Okay, exactly. But COVID, I didn't go, then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
Don't y'all start no rumors. But it does, the bed, I mean, it's
You
really
come
good.
alert. You feel
Yeah.
refreshed. Okay, exactly. And that's what he was seeking. But I want to ask, how many of you have had a cancer issue? Would you raise your hands? Because
Wow.
Tina and I are classic examples of survivors.
That's right.
So we want you to know that you have our prayers and that cancer, only God can take you out
That's
of here.
right.
Cancer
It's
can't.
not a death sentence.
Okay?
Yes.
No question about it. So, what are your hobbies now? What are your free time? What does your free time look like?
Spending it with, my grandkids.
The
My
grandbabies?
grandkids are the best.
Well, that 21-year-old probably.
Well, he don't want to be bothered with me right now. But the younger ones still do. So that's part of it. And I belong to a book club, and that's so much fun. I like to travel.
Where's the most exciting place? Because you've been all over the world.
Africa, for sure.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Where in Africa?
Well, I've been to Lagos. I've been to South Africa. I've been to Nigeria. I've been to Ghana. I just went to Ghana for the first time a few years ago with the Year of the Return, and it was such a beautiful experience. But it's nothing like that,
I thought I had arrived home. Did you
Yes,
feel the same way?
absolutely.
You feel
And I
the
saw,
reconnect.
how they put their clothes on the clothesline. I went to do a video with Solange, and they were talking about art direction, and we were doing it, guerrilla style. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but that's like kind of bootlegging it and just going out there and doing it. And they were talking about art direction. I'm like, we don't need art direction, because the way the clothes, the colors and the fabrics are hung on the clothesline. And then I went to this event where people in the audience were singing. And I said, is this a choir? And they were like, no, these people don't know each other. But just the rhythm, where we got it from. It makes sense of everything. It really does.
So, your two daughters both are musically inclined in addition to other talents. We know them for their musical talent. Did they get it from their mama or from their daddy?
They got it from both.
Okay.
I was in a singing group, and their dad was in a singing group when we were in high school, because, that was during the time I was born in 1954. So in like the late 60s and early 70s, everybody had a group. Were you in a group?
No.
Okay. That's what we did. And so
Excuse me, I was charging folks to sing the
That's right.
singing group. I was collecting money.
Well, we were both in singing groups, and we always, he played the piano, and we sang to the kids when they were little, so they got it from both of us. Now, they didn't get their dancing from me.
I know, I've seen some videos.
Yeah, you sing videos, and they're always like, well, we know they didn't get that dancing from Miss Tina. But, so that's they got it from both of us.
I want to talk to you about proper conduct. I have to honestly salute you and the class that you have exhibited with both your divorces, but particularly with Matthew. When I talk to young girls, I say to them, it is a bad reflection on you to badmouth.
Absolutely.
Somebody you done had a baby by.
Right.
They didn't change. If they were a dog, they were a dog when you got pregnant, when you were dating them, okay? They just didn't wake up one morning and say, I'm gonna be bad, okay? And I say to young women that it's a bad reflection on your judgment that you had sex with and a baby by a man that now you saying was a dog. You have done that without being preachery or anything. You have exhibited so much class.
Well, thank you.
Oh, no, it's true, because I happen to know how deeply you've been hurt. But you didn't share that hurt. You didn't feel it necessary. You were changing gears. You were going to go in a different direction.
That's right.
And so it had nothing to do with them. It was all about you. Speak on that, would you?
Well,
Because I think
absolutely.
it's
I mean, first of all, that's the father of my children. And they have to read this stuff. My grandchildren have to read it. So I just didn't want to be somebody's entertainment. And that's how you got to think of it. It's not about everybody else, it's about you. Do you want to give everybody free entertainment with all your business? No. It's not their business. And you decide what you're going to share and what you're not going to share, because you don't owe the world an explanation of everything that happened in your life. And so I just chose the high road, you know, and I'm really happy that I did.
How difficult is that when you have the visibility that you've had? I mean, you're no Streaking Violet. Everybody knew who you were before the book, okay? Before the success of your daughters. So this was something that I'm certain that you probably had to dodge a few reporters' questions that you were not going to address. But how did you keep the pain under control while you still had to be physically visible?
I think when you make the decision, really, that you're going to choose you, your focus ain't on them. It's on you. And what you got to do moving forward. And, you know, I was very devastated, not because I wanted my husband. I mean, it was time for that to end, but because I had been married for 33 years and I didn't know anything else. And my ex-husband and I kind of grew up together. You know, we were together since we were very young. And everything about him wasn't bad. So I chose to focus on the good. And that is how I live my life. I don't waste my time holding grudges, rehashing the past. I'm keeping moving. Yeah.
So many young people concentrate on being a Beyonce, a Solange, Kim Kardashian. How do you instill in young women in particular, because I promised this audience, I was honest, I told them I had not read the book, so a lot of my questions had to do with me knowing you. But how do you convince young women that they are Beyonce, they are Solange, they are Kim Kardashian?
That's right.
They don't need to be aspiring to be somebody other than themselves.
Exactly.
Certainly you instilled that in your daughters.
Yes.
Okay. How do you do that, though? Why do you have such a self-awareness? How did you master that? Was your mama, your grandmama? How did you know who, not even liking your name, how did you know, but you like Tina?
I changed it, though. See, that's the thing. In 5th grade, I changed my name to Tina.
In 5th grade?
Yes. My mama went in the hospital, and I was like, this is my opportunity. So I was going to public school because I had been to Catholic school, and I was going to public school, and I said...
And you been buck wild.
But I went to that school, and I told my brothers, I said, please don't give them my birth certificate because I hate that name. And they kept saying, no, we can't do that because Mama told us to give them the papers. And when I got in there, I was just looking at them like this. And they said, oh, well, my mama is in the hospital and we don't have our paperwork. And I said, well, I promise I'll bring it next week. And by that next week, I was Tina Beyonce, not Celestine. So I think in my life I changed. It's crazy because, you know, I went to a Catholic school, if anybody's read the book. I went to
everybody in here except me.
Oh, okay. Well, I went to a Catholic school, and the nun, I grew up super poor. Right across the street from the school, we had this raggedy little house, and you could see our house from the school. And we went to this private school. And my mama was always saying, well, we don't have money for that, you know, we can't afford it. And I'm like, well, y'all sure are affording this stupid school across the street. And it was like teachers and nurses. They were like the upper echelon of, you know, people, and they had money. And so we were at the school, and these nuns reminded me every day that I did not belong there. I didn't know why we were there, but they would tell me that I was selfish and vain. I'm 5 years old, and they telling me I'm vain and I'm selfish, and they're going to get that evil spirit out of me. And I'm not going to tell you what I was calling them in my brain, but I was just thinking, no, you're not. And I had a mother that was an amazing, wonderful mother, but my mother was very passive and very Catholic and very brainwashed, so she didn't protect me from them. So I had to learn to be a warrior at 5 and talk back and protect myself because she just didn't protect me with the nuns. And so, that resilience that I have, that fight that I have, came from being 5 and them telling me that I didn't belong and I wasn't good enough all the time. So, I taught my daughters from day one, you are good enough to be anywhere you choose to be. You could be whatever you want to be. You just got to work hard. Ain't nobody going to give it to you. You got to work hard, and you got to persevere, and you got to make the sacrifice, but you could do anything. And they really believed that they could do anything.
Oh, they've accomplished it.
Yeah.
So that positive motivation, you passed on to them even though you didn't have it.
Well, I did have it. My mom was always telling me, that I was, smart and I was beautiful and all of these things. My mama was great, but she just, with the nuns, just bowed down. She did all the altar, she was a seamstress, so she did all the altar clothes. She did the altar boy uniforms.
That's where you learned to sew.
Yeah, that's where I learned to sew. Her mother was a seamstress way back from my great-grandmother who was enslaved. She could sew. So they passed it on. But what I found out when I was 14 is that my mom and dad were bartering. Because my daddy drove the nuns to, pay their bills and their errands. I was like, why are y'all slaves to these people? And they were mean. They were really mean, and they did a lot of really cruel things to me. But
were you the only black in the school?
Girl, no, the school was black, and the nuns were black.
Oh no!
I was in a white school. They didn't have that then. I was born in '54. This is like '59. This was a black Catholic school. It was black nuns, but what I found out when I was 14 is that my mama was bartering. So she was working for them and doing everything for them, and my dad was, in order for us to go to private school. And whereas I think that is such a beautiful sacrifice right now, I did not think it was at 14. I was like, she could have kept that because it wasn't a great experience for me. But what a sacrifice my mom made. When I got older, I really appreciate it. I get emotional every time I think about it because she took a bunch of stuff so that her kids could have a good education. So she was a wonderful mom, but she just would not fight the nuns because she was scared that they were gonna kick us out probably. She was in a bad position.
So after all of these numerous interviews, best-selling book, what's next? What have you not had time to really focus on that you would like to do now?
I'm sure I haven't done everything I wanted to do in life.
You got a bucket list?
I've done a lot.
You have a bucket list of stuff?
I had a bucket list, and I've crossed off so many things. And recently I did a commercial for Kurt Geiger, and they asked me to be in the commercial, and I actually wound up producing it, doing all the decor for it, doing the styling, everything from nuts to bolts. And it was so much fun. I didn't know if I could do it, but I did. And that was great. That was a great accomplishment. I've done a lot of stuff.
Will you marry again?
I don't know. If I find that right person at 72, the pickings are slim. But, I have been talking to a very nice man. That's a wonderful man. Yes, he's very nice. And if it happens, then it's great. But if it doesn't, and if it don't work out, I am going to be just fine because I get up every day and my life is just full of joy. It really is.
Is it hard for you to distinguish whether or not they're interested in you or they're interested in your family?
I don't think so because I think very highly of who I am. I do. I mean, not in an arrogant way, but it's funny. I'm going to tell you a little quick story. When I went through my divorce after 33 years, and I was so sad and I was so down, I was in therapy because I've been in therapy forever. And my therapist called me and she was like, how you doing? And I was like, I can't, I don't feel like getting out of the bed. I'm eating ice cream and I'm looking at TV and I'm just, I'm really sad. And I said, I just feel like I'm so old and I'm not gonna meet anybody. And, those things go through your head. And she said, you know what, I want you to do something for me. I want you to take a piece of paper, and that's when people wrote and didn't put it in their phone. And I wrote down all the list of every failure that I've ever had in my life, a time that I felt insecure or not attractive or, any failures in my life. And then I wrote down all of my wins and all the things I had accomplished and things that I felt good about. And the good side so outweighed the bad, even though the bad was speaking louder at first. But as I wrote and I felt better, I said, you know what? If I met me, I would want to date me. If I met me, I would want to be my friend. So I got up and got cute and went to the museum, and I started looking at art again because I hadn't had time. I shipped my art books to New York, and I started living because I feel, why wouldn't somebody want to date me? I'm funny, I'm nice, I got a lot of good stuff going on. So thank you, cute too, thank you. But why would
and brilliant.
Why would they want me from who my family is? I just don't think that way. Yeah, and so I think you attract the right kind of person.
How you think.
Yeah, how you think of yourself.
I'm glad because you opened that up, because that's what I want to talk to this gathering of distinguished women and that one gentleman who won the first prize. Okay. We, again, going back to young women wanting to be one of your daughters, this whole notion of understanding who we really are is really a conspiracy that has existed since the days of us arriving on these shores.
That's right.
They knew what they were bringing over. Mm-hmm. They knew that they had the brilliance of three sisters sending a man to the moon. Okay. That's right. They knew they had a Tina Knowles or a Cathy Hughes, and so they have consciously tried to make us doubt.
That's right.
And so many of us buy into that doubt. And I don't know what's going on with my mic. Okay, it went back. Thank you. What advice do you share? I think it was really important for you to tell these sisters, if you ain't had a mammogram, you need to go. I'm telling you, go get a colonoscopy. But more importantly, how do we deal with these myths of who we aren't and buying into them?
Oh, my God. I think that it is the power of sisterhood. At my lowest times in my life, who has pulled me up, and I'm getting emotional, I'm about to cry thinking about it, has been my sisters. If you think about, not my blood sister, but my friends, you got to surround yourself with a circle of women that make you feel good every day, that's not jealous of you, not envious, that lift you up and you lift them up, because there's so much power in that. And I'm always confused when I see a circle of friends, because I mentor a lot of young people. And when I see a circle of friends where, it's some young sisters and they are kind of being catty and a little jealous, and, that has not been my experience. My experience has been my sisters lifting me up, and when I feel really bad and insecure, they make me feel better. Surround yourself with people who are happy to see you and happy to see you do well. That is my advice, because we cannot go outside of our own race to expect people to prop us up. We got to prop each other up. Stop tearing each other down. Uplift everybody around you, because I never understood the concept of people being negative and mean and hateful, but thinking they're going to have success. Who's going to like you? Who's going to want to follow you? Who's going to want to buy your product if you start a business? It's just easier to be a good person and to uplift everybody else and let them uplift you. That's my advice, because we can't go outside and say, oh, lift us up, and we're not lifting each other up, right?
That's incredible advice. Incredible. So I want to talk about your career as a hairdresser. Because what a lot of people, is in the book, how you were the breadwinner for a while, okay? And my sister loves to tell the story that my mama was your first client when you came out of beauty school. She's like, I was not. My sister worked for Matthew. And she had to live with Tina and Matthew initially because she had no place to stay in Houston. And so Tina graduates from beauty school, and my sister said, Matthew said, Tina wants to do your hair. She's like, not that soon after beauty school. And so, but my mama was, and my mama used to love to tell people. My mama, I lost her to COVID at 96. But my mama did not leave this earth without telling people, you know Beyonce's mama did my hair. All right, to the day she left. Aww. But one of the things I try to do, like when you're giving young people advice, and regardless of age, I like to try to correct misinformation about black women. Mm-hmm. I think that's so important when you have an audience. How many of you here, raise your hand for me if you would, think that Madam C.J. Walker was the ultimate in the hair industry and the first black woman millionaire? Raise your hands, please.
I do.
Okay, I have a present for you. Where is my present for Tina, please? Number one, that's misinformation.
It is.
Madam C.J. Walker was not the first.
Who?
All right. Madam C.J. Walker went to the school, attended Poro, which is a African name for beauty.
Wow.
All right. She was trained by a woman named Annie Malone. Annie Malone was the first black woman to establish herself in the music industry, in the hair industry. Annie Malone was the richest woman, black or white, the richest person in the state of Missouri. For 10 straight years, she paid more taxes in Missouri than anybody white. Annie Malone trained Madam C.J. Walker. Madam C.J. Walker stole an idea called a curling iron, and Annie Malone sued her.
Ooh, that's
won.
That's messy.
Okay. Annie Malone created Federal Express. Federal Express used the Annie Malone blueprint. Wow. Annie Malone had a fleet of delivery trucks. If you placed your order for her products by 7 a.m., by 7 p.m., your products were delivered. Wow. It's the prototype.
For FedEx.
Of FedEx.
That's right.
Okay.
They owe her family a check.
All right. I knew you'd be interested in this. Okay. I ordered this for you. Annie Malone, in her preface, says, I'm not big on publicity, so I have taken pictures. This is actually her scrapbook.
Wow.
Of my operation. Annie Malone had 300 uniformed employees in her office.
Go, Annie.
Annie Malone had a hospital.
Really?
Once a year. If you were an Annie Malone salesperson, if you carried her product line, and you all can Google all this, Poro, P-O-R-O, okay? This is for you. If you were in her employ, once a year you came in to her headquarters for a week of training and spa treatments for you. That's the example that General Electric uses. If you work for General Electric, once a year you go for a week at their corporate headquarters. Major corporations in America have copied Annie Malone, starting off with Madam C.J. Walker, okay? But every Black History Month, Okay? People are told the Madam C.J. Walker story. And believe it, you were in the industry and didn't know about Annie Malone. That's for you. You all
And I'm a history
research.
buff.
And you a history. That's the reason I got
they
that
kept
for
this
you.
a
All
good
right.
secret.
She knew that, and it's so interesting. You need to really study her. She married the wrong person, and her empire started to collapse. But she took her money and set up a home for children in St. Louis, Missouri. About 10 years ago, I called the home because I decided I was going to start spreading the word of who Annie Malone really is, okay? And I called, and a receptionist said, "I'm sorry, it's a holiday, ma'am. We're closed for the day." I said, "Are you in answering service?" She said, "Yes, ma'am." The next day, her CEO called me back. And I said, "You're the CEO of the Annie Malone Children's Home in St. Louis, Missouri?" She said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "You still open?" She said, "Oh, Miss Malone left all her money so that we would be in operation forever, in perpetuity." Okay? That's the story we need to be telling about the first black woman, okay, millionaire in the hair industry. So, Tina, that's my gift to you. This woman, her company was 1 square block. All right. Okay. Delivery service, uniform.
Yeah, I see the trucks.
Okay, and this is the cherry on top of the sundae. If you stayed employed 5 years with her, she bought you a diamond ring, 1 carat. If you stayed employed with her 10 years, she signed and financed a home for you and your family. All right.
That is amazing.
Right, I know.
How is it that they have been able to cover that up?
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. Exactly. So, my dedication to your book and promoting it is you wrote down the correct story of who and your family are about, because it's intentional that our history is altered, erased, forgotten. The books are being taken out of schools, okay? So I'm encouraging everyone, including myself, to try to put it down on paper or audio. Tell your story. All of us have interesting stories, okay?
That's that's in the book as well. I encourage everyone to, just like I said, my history could have been gone. And I encourage, thank you, Trail. And that's both your copies, because that's a paperback that I just reissued this week, as a matter of fact. But to just get on Ancestry, get on 23andMe, and I know it's been a lot going on with that, but research, interview the oldest person in your family. I mentor kids, and that's one of the things that I have them do. I have them to interview the oldest person in their family, and they don't want to do it at first, but they get obsessed. And then they just want to know all the history, because our histories are so rich. And you need to pass that on, pass that legacy on to your kids and your grandkids. I wish I could go back and talk to my mama. I lost her at 20, I was 26 years old. Oh, and I wish I could go, I lost her very young. And so
your children never knew their grandmother?
No, they never met their grandmother. I never met my grandmother, because my parents were like 44 when they had me, so they were older. And but you don't have to go back but 3 generations, actually, I guess it'd be 4 generations to my great-grandmother. Both my great-grandmothers on both sides were enslaved women. And both of them managed to free their children. They had like 14 kids, and the other one had 16 kids, and all of their kids were freed. So I know I come from some good, resilient stock, because I can only imagine what they had to do that.
The book is lengthy. That's the reason I selected it for my vacation reading, okay?
But listen to the audio book.
Okay.
And you know what else? The audio book. No, but the audio book is amazing. I won.
You recorded it, right?
Yes, in my voice.
Yeah, no, I've heard it's amazing. But when you are turning 80 next year, all the doctors tell you to read, not listen, because it keeps your brain.
But look at you. You turning 80?
I'll be 80 next year.
Look at this. You're doing something good, girl.
what is the most important message in this book that you want to convey to those of us who have not had the privilege and the blessing of reading it yet or hearing it?
I think that, it's legacy. And that's,
the theme for today's event.
The theme for today is her legacy, and this is my legacy. It's about resilience. And looking over this book, like I said, when I was writing it, I realized how resilient I am, how strong I am. And I encourage everybody to do the same. This is kind of
like a diary, then, you're telling me.
Yeah, it is. A lot of it is my diary because I just kind of recorded into it. And, what I was feeling at the time is very honest, too.
Okay, this is fantastic.
Thank you. They wanted me to have that picture as the cover, but I commissioned this young artist from Lagos, and he did the painting for me. And the new book has, this one is just a paperback. It's a reissue of it, and they told me that I reached a new audience if I would put the paperback out.
That's
right.
right.
I was like, okay, well, I'll do a paperback, but I want a new cover, and they chose this picture. This is 2 months after I had Beyonce, and the original picture I wrote Matthew, Tina, and Beyonce in the sand. So when I got ready to do this book, I was like, I'm not writing his name in it. I'm gonna flip the script. And they were like, you can't do that. You can't go alter it. And I said, no, I'm gonna tell people that I did it because the first one was in the first book. And so
and you replaced him with Solange.
I replaced him with Solange. And in the book, if you go to the last chapter, the funny thing is I couldn't come up with anything to add to the book to make it different, even though I had 400 pages I didn't use. I couldn't make it work.
Wait. You had 400 pages
This book was 900 pages. So the people were like, don't nobody want to read 900 pages, so you got to get it down to 400 pages.
Well, that's not true with the family that you have produced.
Yeah,
they'll read 9,000 pages, wouldn't you, sisters?
Well, so I cut it down to 400 pages. So I thought I could just go back and take some of that information and put it in new, because I was like, why would I do another book and not have additional information and additional pictures and a new cover to make it fresh? And I was down, so I gave up on it. And I said, I'm not going to do it because I can't make it work. So I was down in Thanksgiving last year. I was down in the Caribbean with my grandchildren, and we had just come out the ocean. And I just laid up there and I said, I'm just so full and I'm so grateful. And it was after the cancer thing and all of that. And I just started recording into my phone. And the next thing I knew, this whole epilogue was written. And I talked about the tour and my tour, because I end the book with my breast cancer surgery. And that's kind of how it ends, and it ends on the beach, on my little spot I rent on the beach. And this book ends with me finding another, well, I'm not going to tell you, but part of it was I was on the beach and I got to rewrite this in the sand. And then in the book, there's a photo where I took a photo on the beach now.
A before and after. I love it.
And here it is right here. I know y'all can't see it, but I'm on the beach in the same position. And now I have Beyonce, Solange, Kelly, and Angie, because I really have 4 daughters. So, yeah. So it's an update.
So how do you navigate the waters of difference in visibility and celebrity status with your 4 daughters? Because all 4 are accomplished. Mm-hmm. And every child, whether they admit it or not, secretly wants to be an only child so they can have their mama to themselves, okay? I was an only child for 6 years, and my brother and I have not mended fences yet. I've been mad at him since the day he came home from the hospital. I'm like, we were just fine, the 3 of us. What the hell are you doing here? Okay? I'm serious. My mama used to say that I would come home and go back in those days. We didn't have trash bags. You just put your trash in the can. Mm-hmm. She said I'd empty out the can, checking for Baby Ruth. My mother loved Baby Ruth wrappers, and then I would start crying if there was one saying, "You gave him a Baby Ruth and you didn't save it." She's like, "Cathy, he doesn't have any teeth. He didn't eat a Baby Ruth." Okay, how do you navigate that? How do you give only child attention when you have more than one?
You mean as adults or as children?
Period.
Well,
Throughout.
as children, it's a 5-year difference between Beyonce and Solange. And by the time Solange was like 5, Beyonce was 10, and she was like this little local star in Houston. And it was very difficult for Solange because they were so close. And then all of a sudden, Beyonce was in this group, and she had all of her friends, and Solange was getting in her stuff and trying to hang around them, and she didn't want her around, and she started being mean to her, and Solange started tearing her stuff up, the usual sibling stuff, and it really scared me. It frightened me. And in my salon, I had a therapist there. And she was an adult therapist, and I said, I want my girls to be close. I don't want them to have resentment. They're not close anymore. I'm just really worried about it. I want to send them to counseling. And she said, oh, I know a child psychologist, a male child psychologist, and he is wonderful. And so I started my kids in therapy. My family, including my ex, was like, you're going to make them girls crazy. They too young to be going to, why are you sending them to a psychiatrist? That's what they called it. You're going to make them crazy. And I sent them anyway. And Beyonce hated it, and Solange loved it. Because she loved to talk and get her stuff out. But it made Beyonce so sensitive to the fact that that was her little sister, and people were taking her away from her. And they became very, very close, and they've been close ever since. And I'm really happy that I did that, because this is way a long time ago, y'all. People, and black people, they wasn't about that life.
Oh, it was taboo.
They didn't like it.
Although you might have had Uncle Willie living in the back of the house, and Uncle Willie was very special. You did not admit that you had mental problems in your family.
Right.
Okay, no, that was taboo. You did not admit it was called needing help.
Yeah.
You did not admit that you needed help.
You needed help. And so it was very kind of revolutionary for me to put my kids in therapy, and I believed in it, because I was in it forever. And
who put you in it?
I put myself in it. I put myself in it when I was having problems in my marriage very early on. And to be honest, I never told anyone. I didn't tell my family for a long time that I was in therapy, because I knew, them and the way that they thought about it. And so when I put my kids in it, everybody had an opinion. And I was like, I don't care what y'all say, my kids are going to be well balanced, and they're not going to have all these insecurities, and they're going to be close. And so it worked. So, if your kids need some help getting through some things, it is nothing wrong with getting
And you can find free services.
That's right.
They have all types,
services.
okay?
Yes.
Because I know someone saying, yeah, well, that's good, but I can't afford a therapist for my troubled child.
Right. But
Seek
they have free
out
counseling.
the free services that are available.
That's
It is so important.
And support groups at your
And
church.
support groups. And again, that sisterhood you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Sometimes the best therapy comes from a good friend who is not jealous, who's
right.
not trying to, dog your way. Listen to what they're saying.
Yes.
You should be able to determine whether or not that person really has your best interests at heart.
Right.
In closing, I got to ask you, what's not in the book, all these hundreds of interviews, everybody except Queen Elizabeth, she died before she could schedule an interview with you. Okay? Everybody has interviewed you. Okay? The Pope might even be calling you after he finds out today that you're willing to go beyond the book. What is it that you have wanted after you've done all these countless interviews that you wanted to say to an audience that you did not have the ability, or the question didn't come up, or you didn't feel it was the right time. What would you like to say to this group of distinguished sisters and one brother in, in Durham, North Carolina?
I think I got to say everything. I'm pretty open and honest, and people have had great questions, and when they don't have the questions and there's some message that I want to get out, then I find a way to get it out. But I just think that before you judge someone, I think it's important, and I always want to say this, before you judge someone harshly, put it back on yourself and try to put yourself in their place. And with celebrities, you know, I have people to tell me just about every week that that's what you bargained for. When you became a celebrity, then all bets are off. I could say anything about you. I could say anything to you. I could do anything to you that I feel like doing, because that's a part of being a celebrity. And I don't agree with that. I think that people still should respect. And you should think about it before you believe everything that you read, because some of it is such bullshit. And, you know, people are just very quick to believe that. And I couldn't say that in the book because I was like, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining.
You can't say it on TV.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it here, and somebody's recording it, and they're going to put it out. But, I mean, it's just the truth. Give people the benefit of a doubt, and don't always think the worst of everybody's human, and everybody is not the same. So don't lump everybody in one category, no matter what, you know? Give people the benefit of the doubt.
I want you to know that although my sister was your mentee, not me, you have so inspired me throughout the years. I have looked up to you. I have tried to find out as much about your strategy and your way of doing things, and I want you to know I really do feel that God sent you here at a time where sisters needed you more than we even knew. I thank you, and I will keep you in prayer forever.
Oh, well, the same for you, because you are, I mean, talk about legacy. You are a legend, and what you accomplished in your life has been, I mean, that was impossible how you started. I was just sharing the story with my assistant and my friend Trell, how you just paved the way and just did it with dignity and grace, and still were a great mother. And so the feeling is absolutely mutual.
Well, Alfred didn't grow up to be Beyonce, so I'm a little disappointed in my skill set. Can we give her a big round of thank you applause?
Guys, you were a great audience. Thank you so much.
I know your staff will do that. Okay, wait, we have presents. Okay, we have presents.